Hi, Maximus Analysis here for August 29th, 2015. Sorry I couldn't get you guys a video out yesterday, but I had an anniversary, so I had to go before the markets closed. But either way, see that basically they crushed the weekly puts to the downside. Again, I did have some Apple weekly puts that did get crushed, and I won't lie. So again, I've been keeping light, just still day trading. Oil was a good day trade prospect this week, and but we'll continue looking at the ES. So the ES basically needs to hold this low of 1967 and stay there. Okay, if it doesn't, we could definitely see around this 1800 mark. Okay, just looking at the price action, also looking at the waning volume that's going. Again, they could not give you any type of pullback, and then you would have to look at intraday if it breaks above this 2050 area. I mean, it's going to take a lot more gas to run up another 50 points on the ES, and they definitely need to not break this low, and especially not break this low of 1934. Okay, this is just to make sure that the swing trades, if people are using this as a low, your line in the sand is here. Hopefully you're not. I wouldn't use. I would use options for this on the SPY or SPX versus the futures for that type of trade. Again, you have the NQ. NQ is still looking up, but again, down volume. Basically, nothing happened yesterday. So again, you can see from the 15-minute that is what you call a choppy as hell session. So you could just see it was sideways, 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 and they crushed the week because there probably was a ton of weekly calls that got purchased probably around this day. And we'll see what happens on Monday. But again, I would not be looking at one or two bars to say, okay, this is looking good. This is actually looking very ripe if you get a break of a low, because what you have is you have a separation from here and here. So you have this gap right there that you could definitely see is giving you an ample amount of clearance from the last low. If we get another seller's bar, we get another break of a low. We got a sell signal. Okay, so you see that gap from here to here. That's showing a lot. You could definitely still have a lot of downside potential, especially coming out of the chop. So it's not only to say, okay, what is the underlying trend, but what is happening before. Okay, so a lot of people are saying, okay, it held these lows, but for how long? Okay, because again, if next week is ugly, which this week was kind of ugly too. You had a Monday that basically all of the guys on Thinkorswim could not get into their account because of volatility. They didn't even let you trade futures on the Thinkorswim accounts because I guess there was a ton of margin calls that they probably were like, listen, we need to just have people not get in. But either way, you see the IWM again is given a 3, 4 bar pullback, but it's still very weak. It would be below these lows. Okay, this is the lows that it broke, and if it gave another seller's bar, even came up a little bit, the gap between there shows that continued weakness, and I would not fight it if I were you. Crude actually was up. I wasn't expecting it to be this up. On a daily swing trade pattern, we would still say that we would wait for the retracement to continue. And I personally wouldn't take the first sale signal. I would be very cautious, maybe look at an intraday. If it broke a low, I would look at an intraday, maybe a 15 or 30 minute to get in, versus because you just have two very large bars that basically you have to see. Again, if they give you a sell signal, usually with the larger bars, they'll come back and retest that original buy signal, and then we'll look and get a lower high. Something similar to this. So you got the sell signal, and they never really came back up. But again, if you take right here, or you took right there, or you said the original sell signal was here, if you had enough time on the options, again, I took around here, the sell signal. I took it down here and it went, I think it was around here, something like that. But I did take that one. But again, I took this first sell signal. So I'm not telling you guys because I'm some guru or something like that. I'm telling you because it was painful seeing it go all the way up. Again, my stop was about up here, using above these previous highs. But it wasn't easy to hold because I thought it was going to quickly come back down. So instead of being impatient, taking a sell signal right here, or maybe getting break even, get stopped out, but seeing again that they didn't break it and continue to downside, would have just been a lot easier trade to hold through. So again, I'm not using this as a I know and you don't know. I'm showing you what I did, and hopefully you guys can learn from that. You had Apple. Apple again was a very sideways, very low volume, as you can see. So again, they break this low of 110. They could continue some downside, and they're right above the previous, or right tapping the previous lows that they broke. So again, what was now support becomes resistance, and we want to see if they're going to get below this area, this 110 area. Okay, we have Google. Google is a tough one because of how it's setting up. So again, for the longs, you want to be very, for the shorts, you want to be very cautious because of how they fill this gap. You could use this low and say, listen, it's below this low. But once they get above here, you got to be real cautious. And again, I wouldn't let the first half an hour tell me what's going on, because if they break below and then run it back up, it would just be a small little flag for some more upside. So I'd be cautious regarding that name, looking for a long. You have the same thing, running out of gas here, very low volume on this one. And you can see that you have it coming right up to previous highs, and it should be in the minor overbought territory. So we'll see how deep this retracement is, because again, if they come back and fill this gap and then head back here to this 100 level, we could finally see it break down. But let's look at the weekly, and you can see that it's a hell of a bar, quite honestly. On the weekly, it's a hell of a bar that saved things. But again, we want to see what's the following volume, and if this is exhaustion as well, because again, they threw the kitchen sink at this one. And again, when they have high bars like this, they continue to float it up. But we just want to see, because of how the indexes look, we can't just say, okay, because remember, this is the tide that is going to move all boats. So when you have the indexes that move, you can look at all the names, all the fundamentals you want. When those indexes move down, everything was down on Monday. It had nothing to do with that. So again, you want to make sure that you're looking at the way of the tide, and that's the way you're going to be biased towards your trades. Okay, so we also had Amazon, another very light day. We'll see how they come in. We had Facebook. Facebook, it's still, to me, can be the declining volume that we have. Again, a lot of people are looking for it to break the 100. It's going to have to prove it, because they've ran out of, they've threw everything with this volume. Okay, so people might say that's a capitulation volume. But it's coming up and it's just waning down, and we got to see again what the indexes are going to do, because if they roll, this is going to roll. So we'll see what happens. Again, I'm expecting another week of fireworks starting up on Monday. We'll see what the open looks like, how they open this thing, and we'll trade them well. So again, if you missed some stuff this week, don't be mad at yourself. It's very hard to, and if you feel uncomfortable this week, having a position of cash doesn't mean, again, everybody's going to make sure you have a proper strategy, because that's usually why people chase stocks or chase trades, because they think there's not going to be another one that's ever going to come up again. So if you're saying, I don't want to miss the boat, usually you're chasing. So right now, I want to see how these things stay up, because a lot of Dow names look very tired as well. So check out the Dow 30, and you'll see that there's a lot of exhaustion that's looking for this sign. We're going to see what happens next week. Again, take care and have a great one.